first, how about a big round of applause for our great Glee Club here? Tremendous. Tremendous. And I know you're going to have some more songs before the afternoon is out. So I want to welcome everyone here to a very special moment for Rutgers University, the 150th anniversary of the birth of college football, November 6th, 1869, on this ground here, on this block as we go out across the campus. And I do want to recognize the presence of Steve Hatchell from the National Football Foundation. Steve, thank you for being here. John Hanson is here as well, board member. John just claimed that he played in that first game and did not wear a helmet. And we have our team captains here, Zach Vineski, Tariq Maddox-Williams, and Tyshawn Fogg. And we have Gil Greenberg, right? Where's Gil? Gil's inside. All right, so Gil, our oldest living letter winner in football. So those four are going to ring the bells to commemorate this day, the 150th anniversary of college football. And it's fitting for our oldest letter winner and then today's three captains. It's a remarkable history if you think about it, what happened here, what started here 150 years ago. Right? So a group of young men came up from Princeton University and they went out on a field, and I think they sort of penciled out the rules. And my understanding, if you read Dave Revson's book, Opening Kickoff, which is about the early years of college football, there were, I think by some estimates, 25 guys aside. So think about that now, 25 guys aside, and some of them had to stay in a certain box. They weren't allowed to move out of that box. So if the ball came into that box, you could grab the ball. There was no forward pass. That forward pass came years later, and it was really only at the turn of the century that the forward pass came about and made it the game that it is today, that we see today. Some folks say it more looked like a cross between soccer, rugby, and wrestling. Right, so you have so maybe those three sports also started for college athletics that day. But then you think about what happened from that moment and the literal thousands of lives that have been positively affected by college football. You think about the number of young men who have been able to access a college education because of football. Right? You think about the transformation that's happened across so many universities. You know, I think some folks are familiar. Early on in the history of college football, there was a risk that it was going to be banned. Some presidents thought that they should be out working in the fields rather than playing with the ball, running up and down a field. There was work to do, there was education to do. But then they started to see these crowds that gathered on the sidelines, and the spirit and the pride that they took in their universities, their alma maters, because they're playing this game. And a couple of universities presidents may be able to take advantage of this. If this is something that brings our alums back to the campus and they can get excited about it, maybe this is a way we can build pride in our university, spirit around our university, and that is exactly obviously what's happened. And even on that first day, that first football game, probably was a day, crisp, beautiful fall day like this, they were already tailgating. Right? We know they were on sidelines with baskets of food and probably some other stronger beverages and things like that. So there was already tailgating going on. I've heard that there was rowdy, so the crowds were already screaming at each other across the field. So a lot of what we celebrate today about the game really was there on that very first game as it grew. But I get back, before we go in here and we ring the bells, to, again, the impact. And you can't understate the impact that it's had. And I know, Steve Hatchell, you've had those conversations and you've done a wonderful job with promoting that, and Season of Saturdays and what happens on Saturdays. It's not just about that, but it's the access to education that it's provided. And you look at the folks from President Gerald Ford across the landscape, who they got access to a great college education because they played this great game of football, right? And it's continuing to evolve. Right now we have name, image, and likeness issues that we're going to look at and have to address. So the game will continue, the game will survive, the game will thrive, all right? But there's only one birthplace of college football. And we today stand on the birthplace of college football. So how about a big round of applause for Rutgers University, birthplace of college football. So with that, I want to give you a little bit of. So we're going to go in and ring the bells, and then when we come out, our drum line is going to lead us over to College Ave, right where the actual game was played, and we will have a plaque reveal that will happen at that moment. So when we come back out, that's what will be happening. All right, but I told these guys I was going to do this. If any of our guys wanted to come up and say a few words, now's your opportunity. All right, the Scarlet Knight. I don't think we're going to hear the Scarlet Knight. Zach, good? They just want to go ring the bells. All right. So with that, again, I thank you all for coming out on this very, very special occasion for the 150th anniversary of college football. It is Rutgers University owns the birthplace. Let's go ring those bells. Thank you very much.